Maria Teixeira, who is a product designer, and Guilherme Alves, who is head of growth for Imaginary Cloud. And today we're going to show you why you should use no or low code web development in your website development specifically. So, just an agenda of what we're going to be talking about today. First, I'm going to have a short description about who we are so you can also understand your positioning and relate to your own specific cases. Then, the evolution of CMS, our low code journey, and then the key advantages, of course, leaving room for some questions and answers at the end, which we're really expecting you to place as many questions as you want. So, a little bit of a description about us. I mean, we're Imaginary Cloud. We're a web development company and system development company. Basically, what we do is we provide services on development, data science, and also design. Those are our three main areas. We develop entire systems, web apps. We also create designs and have specific processes for design, and also have specific processes for data science as well as development. So, as you can see, we're a very process based company because we want to guarantee quality. And so I'll give you a few numbers and I'll focus on the fact that we delivered 300 projects. And the reason why is all of these 300 projects were inbound. And so since we only use inbound in our approach, we have to make sure that our digital presence is spot on, it's perfect. And since we're a very detail oriented type of company, the information that we provide is for you to understand that projects should be done not just because, but in a very specific manner to guarantee quality. We have to be very detailed in the way that we approach our services. And so we have a ton of services, a ton of processes. We need to make sure that it reaches the appropriate target. Because someone that is coming into our website to get web development is not going to be wanting to see what our product design process does. Because although it's very good, indeed, they want to understand how we develop products. Some of the products that we've developed before, they want that comparison. So these are the two main issues initially. So we're very dependent on inbound. So having a pristine digital image is key. The second one is we have a plethora of services and they're targeted at highly differentiated targets. And then the third one, which I'm sure that you all will relate if you're in the IT market, it's because we're in a red ocean market. And so every single day or week, we have to change content that is on our website. So we need something that is flexible and then we can change on the go. That doesn't take an hour, two, three, four. When we want something to change, we can change it instantly. And so one of the key considerations that we did was that we needed a content management system because we need something that is efficient and effective. And so we had to have a great look through what CMS is and what was its evolution. And I'll pass it on to Guilherme, who did that study.
Yeah, thanks, Andres. So Maria is going to take you through the process of, how we ended up with the CMS that we did, and the main benefits about it. But this is such a wide area, such a wide market that's quite important that we start from the beginning. CMS, as Andres said, is a content management system, and that captures a very wide range of softwares. You've got things that such as a digital asset management system. If you manage a big multinational brand, this is a software in which you'll probably upload all your logos, videos, photos, everything, so that different companies across countries can use it. And you've got other types of CMSs, but the ones that we'll be focusing on is the web content management system. And as any other system, as any other CMS, focus on managing content. In the WCMS, this software, the main goal for the software is to allow users to collaborate around web pages, blog posts, and everything that is web-based. So you can create, edit, and produce any kind of digital content. As you can see from the image there, very well-known names such as WordPress, Webflow, Joomla, Drupal. These are just some of the brands that you probably are aware if you have some knowledge around the CMS system. But if you could change the slide, Andre, this is quite a big market and is getting bigger by the day. The reality is that we do own a lot to the CMS. I think we wrote here, and we really like to say that CMS helped democratize the internet, because anyone can very easily build a website without needing to code. I'm from the days of Dreamweaver, in which you actually needed to learn some HTML and really spend hours and hours trying to understand how to upload a website. And with these tools, things are much easier. There are several numbers around the size of this market. The latest ones we found is that there's around 1.2 billion websites using this. And as you can see, if in 2011 they represented around 25% of all the websites in the internet, now the number is as high as 70%. So it is a huge market, and it's something that any brand that wants to, or any company that wants to have a presence, an online presence, they do need to consider this, or else they will lag behind the competition. And the speed of adoption is humongous, as you can see from those numbers. And you, in the end of this webinar, you'll be able to understand why. But the key drivers for this growth are speed, cost efficiency, low complexity, and the functionality that CMSs bring to pretty much all the teams. I'm from the growth department, Dash Marketing, Maria is from design, Andre from business development, and the CMS touches all of us, all the departments, and makes our lives much easier every day. So quite a cool tool. As I said, very big market and quite crowded. WordPress is the big player that you probably all know, and represents around 64% of the market. And what we start to see is more and more smaller players, and also quite specialized. Shopify very much focused on e-commerce and other examples of this sort. If you could change the slide. Looking at the main trends for the CMS market, and this is quite important, because if you're undergoing a process to rebuild your website, change your CMS, or actually start to move your website to a CMS for the first time, it's important to look ahead and see what's coming. These are trends that are actually happening just now, and probably will drive the future as well. So they are quite important that you are familiarized with. The biggest one, the first one, is the rise of no-low code CMSs, and this is the thing that actually brings us to our webinar today. The ease, the speed of the CMS usage, thanks to these tools, is big, very big, and it is a really important tool for both people that don't know how to code, or even companies such as Imaginary Cloud, that we are packed full of amazing developers and designers that do know how to code, but we just want to use the right tool for the right job, and we want to ensure that we work efficiently. And these sorts of tools allow us to do that, and have great brains like Maria and the rest of the development team focusing on what they really are able to bring more value, rather than coding everything from scratch. AI-assisted content management, also quite important to reduce tasks that we also probably don't add much value. Things like adding tags automatically based on image recognition or based on descriptions, adding actual descriptions, helping on the SEO, meta tagging. More and more of these players provide AI-assisted tools like that. So the kind of the the small details that everyone needs to do when building a successful website, it really cuts part of the work. And then the last two are actually they go together, the data-driven content management and the increased personalization. What we see more and more is, you're able to segment the way that your website is presented to the viewer. So if you come to Imaginary Cloud's website, you will get different messages depending on where you're at. So, if you're in the UK, you'll get a specific copy. If you're in Portugal, you get a specific copy. And that's just because we have all sorts of automations in our CMS that allows us to personalize it and change it depending on the data that is available from, where you visit, what you have done from a behavior perspective in our website. So these are the main trends that we are seeing, and those that we are also quite excited with when we develop new projects to our customers. Regarding our customers, we do work with pretty much the whole different segments of the market, from startups, scale-ups, and enterprises. But where we probably bring more value is within the scale-ups. The companies that really are fired up to grow, and they need a support of a company like ours to help them grow with our capabilities, our processes, and so on. And what we've seen is, this is probably the segment that gets the biggest benefit by choosing a CMS and choosing the right CMS, which is very important. And the main reasons why they are quite excited about this is, around these four topics: scalability. You can build a website that is fit for 1,000 visits per month, and that same website will be fit for 100,000 visits per month, because the whole structure behind the CMS is capable of doing so without you needing to install more servers or more memory or more whatever that you probably needed to do 10 years ago. Reliability. These guys also provide really reliable services, some with SLAs and everything. Integrations, you don't need to be coding everything from scratch. These come with, these are very integrated with all sorts of different tools in the web. And ease of use, you will see some more than less than others, but they are really easy to use, and you're able to develop either very simple, very easy, or even very complex websites that look fantastic with like a tenth of the work of doing it from scratch.
Thank you, Guilherme. To give a bit of context of how we ended up using Webflow, I want to let you know that when I first joined Imaginary Cloud, we were less than 40 collaborators, and 1 year later, we were more than 100. And in this meantime, we launched new services and expanded the teams, and so the need to communicate those changes arose. At that time, our website was developed on Ruby on Rails, and every time we needed to make a change to it, it would require the effort of 1 week for a designer and 1 or 2 weeks for development. This reflected many issues. For example, the speed to implement the changes, the marketing activity was compromised, and we were highly dependent on available resources. So if our team was busy doing projects, we could not have someone to provide those changes. And so this limited our marketing capabilities and, for example, SEO. Consequently, we had to find a way to work more efficiently, like Guilherme already mentioned, and that's when the low-code tools came to our radar for this exact purpose. We evaluated a bunch of them, like WordPress, Wix, Squarespace, amongst others, and taking into consideration their main features and constraints, we understood that WordPress and Webflow were the ones offering were the ones studying out on the market and offering more possibilities. Comparing both of them, Webflow was the winner because of the topics mentioned here in this slide, because Webflow would offer a designer much more powerful than the dashboard of WordPress. It doesn't require a template to build from a template. The CMS is very powerful, if not better than WordPress itself. It allows a great optimization for the web. The SEO management happens within Webflow, so we don't need to use plugins or other integrations. And there's a huge list of third-party integrations that are also possible to do with Webflow. On top of that, comparing hosting and pricing, Webflow offers its own in-house hosting. So again, we don't need to require other tools to provide the hosting, and the pricing is very, very good comparing to WordPress if we guarantee all of the mentioned above. To that end, Webflow is extremely flexible and a powerful tool that combines visual elements and controls with a very powerful CMS that doesn't need to work with specific templates like WordPress does. And if we need to change those templates, then we would require the usage of a developer. With Webflow, we have the freedom to create whatever our needs are and to communicate our branding in the fullest, which lets our teammates or customers not bother or worry about making changes in the future. On top of that, Webflow offers a bunch of features like a drag and drop tool, a responsive design. It's very easy to create our designs between all the devices. It provides CSS-based class systems, and we can publish all these changes in a few seconds. But then again, building with Webflow, it's like building in 3 different layers. The first one would be creating the structure for the website. The second one would be to create the styles or the CSS like we know. And the third one would be creating animations. Webflow didn't stop with the styling, and so it allows us to blow a list of different animations within the tool itself, or using other integrations with After Effects or motion tools. An example of some animations that Webflow provides is scroll-based parallax animations, loading animations, multi-step animations, so on and so forth. When it comes to collaboration, Webflow also stood out amongst the other tools that we benchmarked, as it's very powerful and has a lot of possibilities when collaborating with customers or within our team. Webflow allows us to create teams and workspaces. So let's say that we have, as Imaginary Cloud, we have a bunch of different projects. We can give different permissions within those workspaces and projects. And if we do have a lot of people working on the same project or website, we can access the site activity log, so understand who is logging in, who is making changes or not, and leave comments on those changes. At the end of the day, as a designer, I would describe Webflow as a different way to code visually. So if you're a designer and you're wondering whether or not learn to use Webflow, I would say that it's a great tool to learn, because it allows us to work and build with the same mental model as developers. And we don't need to know how to code from scratch. So Webflow will bridge the gap between the front-end development and the visual tools that we designers are used to use. This means that working with teams and working in other type of projects will be way more efficient. And on top of that, we can use Webflow to prototype and translate our visual ideas into But then again, it's very important to mention that low-code tools like Webflow are very helpful, but are not here to replace the developer's work. Like Guilherme said, we need to understand very well what our customers or our own needs are, and then decide whether Webflow or a low-code tool is a right choice or not. At Imaginary Cloud, we chose Webflow to build websites as it brings great possibilities and results. And on top of that, when working with our clients and customers, it's very easy to onboard them into the tool. Like I mentioned before, we can set up different permissions and roles within the team. So if they have designers, developers, and marketing members working on the website, we can make sure that nothing is destroyed and they can update the content as much as they want and need. On top of that, Webflow offers a university page. So if anyone has any doubt on how to work with the tool, they can go to this library and just learn through videos or articles. The account billing process is very simple, and they offer in-house support.
So now speaking and making a summary of the key advantages that Webflow has, I structured it into 3 categories. 2 of them, Guilherme already mentioned them at the beginning, so scalability and reliability. And of course, we also have to take into consideration the financial aspect. So I also placed sustainability on the left. So if we look and we compare Webflow and WordPress, you can see that one of the main benefits is when you purchase a subscription of Webflow, it's all in one package. So you don't have to worry about any other providers. You don't have to worry about, I'm speaking with Nate from WordPress. I'm speaking with John from a plugin that I'm using in WordPress. Plugins, we'll get to that later, but it's all very much simplified. Price points are according to your needs, as in comparison with WordPress, because there's a lot of negotiation going around. You have to select and do a bunch of research to select the plugin that you need the most. In Webflow, most of those plugins are already available. And you can also choose what type of packages you want to include in your subscription. So let's say that I have 3 websites. The original account takes 2. I want to add another website. I can just pay to add another website and add that to the subscription. But if I have one website and I want to add another person, like 4, 5, 6 people to the workspace, I can also add and increase the subscription only on those seats. So it's flexible and it allows you to reach where you want to go. The other aspect, and I know that CFOs will enjoy this, is one single bill, because it's a lot easier to track when you have everything documented by one provider in one single bill and delivered to you. Second aspect is scalability. Guilherme already mentioned this, so there's a lot of must-have features that are inbuilt. Maria also said the ease that is to use Webflow without having to worry about any other integrations. WordPress is plugin dependent, and most of those plugins are paid for. Second aspect is, as Maria mentioned on the last slide, Webflow University. You have a centralized source of knowledge. Whatever you want to do, integrations, CMS, changing the background, something simple, for example, adding animations, all of that is provided directly by Webflow people. So you have the most accurate knowledge that is available in the marketplace. WordPress has a decentralized knowledge resources. Typically, you have to go on blogs from people that have used it before, so it may not be as 100% accurate. Webflow also has hosting, which is already included. WordPress, you need to have separate hosting systems, so it's very cPanel dependent as well. So basically, besides having to run your own business and having to worry about teams, etc., operations, you also have to get a degree in software engineering almost to handle WordPress. Reliability. Webflow has SLAs that guarantee a lot of uptime, so you're not dependent on companies like us. One of the great benefits of when I speak with clients, and one of the things that I say the most is, look, when we develop and we deliver the website, you won't need to hear from us again. We expect you to come back because you like working with us. Okay, so in regards to support, to maintenance, Webflow can handle that. because they guarantee the uptime. I placed 99.9% of uptime. Actually, it's 99.96% of uptime. In WordPress, it has to be guaranteed by you. Other aspect is you, with the lowest package available, lowest subscription package, you get at least 250K monthly visits to your website, guaranteed, without any problems. And you can scale up. There's plans for 500K, plans for 1 million, whatever you want. That's basically you. Whereas WordPress, it's dependent on the provider, infrastructure, who's managing your hosting, what the config is. Basically, it's up to you to determine. And the last aspect, which is extremely important, incredibly nowadays when we look at what's going on in the world, security. So at least they guarantee you two-factor authentication and DDoS protection. Okay, so no funny business of disconnecting your website full of requests. As in WordPress, it's basically handled by you. Another aspect, and I'll hand it this in regards to the advantages and benefits, is Webflow is ISO 27000 certified. So it's the biggest certification out there for security purposes. It's recognized and used by banks, by the Pentagon, for example, as well. So it's really, really good. And they implement all of the processes and they're certified. So when you use Webflow, you're also sure that all of the information that you have on your website is locked behind a very good vault. And so passing on to the Q&A, I hope you enjoy the presentation. And now we'll make ourselves available for any questions that you might have. I can already see some questions, so leave it up to you.
Thank you, Andre, and again for the presentation as well. Hello, Alexandra. Answering your question, yes, brands are using the e-commerce feature of Webflow, but then again, Webflow is not communicating as the most powerful tool for e-commerce. In this sense, there is the integration with Shopify. So they work alongside together where you can have your database per se in Shopify, and then you have your visual, powerful layouts worked on the e-commerce feature of Webflow. Oh, so the question was, are there many brands using Webflow for e-commerce? If yes, have you worked with any? We did not work with e-commerce feature of Webflow yet. We are focusing mainly on the CMS and building website.
There's in the chat also a question regarding. I can read it. Jay Dessa, can someone with basic code knowledge use Webflow to build an e-commerce website?
Yes, you can, definitely. And if, like I said, Webflow is very visual. So if you have a bit of basic knowledge, it's perfect, because then you're going to get along with Webflow pretty well. And if you have any doubts on how to use the e-commerce feature of Webflow, you can always use the Webflow University. But it's very straightforward and easy to use.
We have another question from Alex Gouveia.
Thank you, Alex, for this question. Like I said, Webflow is a tool that allows coding, but in a visual way. So we don't really need developers or full-stack developers to build on Webflow, although they can build on Webflow as well. If there are more complex features that we want to add to our website using JavaScript or other libraries, then yes, we do need someone that knows this type of skill. So answering to Jay Deza, yeah, we can integrate a lot of other softwares into Webflow. Webflow actually has a page dedicated to this with a list of possible integrations. If this software or tool is not on the list, you can always contact the support team or integrate yourself through JavaScript. And answering to André Cordeiro. So the learning curve can take a bit, I would say, for a designer if you have no coding experience at all. If you do not know how to work with HTML and CSS, it can take a while. But I would say once you get the grasp of the visual boxing model with Webflow, it's pretty easy and straightforward. And actually, we want to learn more and more when we start using the tool. Answering to Nazir. So Webflow has its own CMS, and this is what it's used as a database for building the website. If you do need to use a more complex database, you can integrate with other tools. So answering to Nazir again, yes, there is a marketplace with lots of templates available for Webflow, with or without CMS, e-commerce as well. So you can just type marketplace Webflow and you will find lots of them.
But Maria, let me just build on that. I'm not sure Nazir's final point is I'm interested to find online marketplace template. So the marketplace that Maria is mentioning is a marketplace for, integration templates that other companies have done and so on. But to actually build a marketplace in Webflow, I would imagine that's not available, if I'm not mistaken, Maria, because the marketplace software is quite of a different beast, if I'm not mistaken, but you guys might be better answering that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, to build a marketplace on Webflow, it's a bit more complex project. So we do need to use other tools to be able to build this database and marketplace within Webflow.
So yeah, I can answer the first from Alexandra. Alexandra asked, you said that Webflow could work and improve SEO, but will migrating all the content to Webflow impact my SEO efforts? Yes and no. This is an area that we invest quite a lot in SEO. We've got quite a nice team working on it. The great thing about Webflow is that it's built for proper SEO planning or strategy. So you can very easily, implement all sorts of different meta tags and metadata that Google requires. It's also very efficient from an SEO perspective, so it's easier to rank. But SEO comes down to what you put there. So if sorry for the language, if your content is crap, moving it to Webflow will not do anything. But if you have the right content, the right structure, everything set in place, it will surely be an improvement. Yes, at least that's what we felt from our end. And also be mindful, and this from a marketing department standpoint, the fact that it's easy to change, it's easy to adapt every little thing, even without having knowledge on coding and everything, makes it much more easier to have a page that is tailored to rank in Google. I can tell you that our team changes our website many times a day, and we have a huge roadmap of changes, some done with support from design and from development, a lot of them done just by us marketeers. And if we weren't able to do that, the speed to which we need to grow and that we need to put things out there, we just wouldn't be able to make it happen. So this flexibility and ease of use is something also that I'm sure would help improve the SEO element of it. Our SEO colleague, she runs Ahrefs every day. She's changing things, testing things, and having such a tool allows her to change and like in one day see the differences, change it again another day. So it's very easy to use. Yeah.
Answering to Alex again. So Alex, you don't need to use plugins to build interactions on Webflow. And if you need to do a very complex interaction, let's say use a 3D model or another type of interaction, you can use After Effects or a more powerful tool and integrate this animation with Webflow. You don't need a plugin to achieve this. Or you can use Webflow itself. Webflow has a Lottie dedicated tool inside Webflow where you can create these visual animations and see the results straight away when you create those. Answering to Nazir, so Webflow is a website builder, not a mobile app builder. So I would say it's a no, although you can build websites and then make them responsive, so they will work on mobile devices as well. Let's see if anyone has further questions.
Nope.
Okay, so it seems that is pretty much it. So I'll thank all of you for the participation in our webinar. If you have any questions, please feel free to follow up with us. If you want to reach Imaginary Cloud, you can do so via our info email, info@imaginarycloud.com, and you'll be redirected to whomever you want to speak. Maria, myself, and Guilherme will be available to help you with any questions you may have. So thank you very much and have a wonderful day.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.